Agriculture Minister, the DA leader John Steenhuisen, is visiting the Karen beef feedlot. It's part of the foot and mouth disease vaccination program in Gauteng. The outbreak seems to have started there before spreading to nearby farms. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala joins us live from there. Nqobile, good morning to you. What's the minister saying?
Well, the minister just giving more details with regards to what is happening here in the farm. We know that the vaccination, of course, has begun, but also this has an impact in terms of the finances, in terms of agriculture, mainly because you know that the borders have been questioned in terms of whether or not FMD can be transmitted over the border. But we know that some of these animals have been in quarantine to ensure that that doesn't happen. Minister, if you can just give us a breakdown of what is happening here today and what are the successes?
So what we are starting with is with a vaccination. This is the first time we'll be vaccinating at a feedlot level to get foot and mouth disease under control. Now, this is obviously very important. The beef industry is exceptionally important to South Africa from both a consumer but also from an economic perspective. Karen beef, the feedlot where we're at today, is responsible for around 30% of the sector and obviously has caused price shocks now when their operation has had to be stalled because of foot and mouth disease. We regard vaccination now as a strategy to be able to get foot and mouth disease under control in South Africa, to get it back into the areas where it is endemic, and then to recompartmentalize the country so that we can recommence with our international trade, which has now had to be paused because of foot and mouth disease. Yeah.
And how much have you at this point spent?
So we've put aside 43 million rand departmental budget to date for the purchase of vaccines. Now, we haven't used all of that yet. The first batch of 900,000 vaccines arrived in South Africa last week, and we commenced with the vaccination over the weekend. Obviously, there'll be a second batch on order, and we will continue to purchase vaccines in order to get this particular matter under control, not only here in Gauteng, but also in KwaZulu-Natal, where we have a major outbreak of foot and mouth disease. And it's going to require, apart from the vaccinations, a whole of industry and a whole of society approach to get on top of it. We've also published new regulations that were gazetted a week and a half ago, which govern the auction, the movement of animals, and the protocols that must be followed in order to try and prevent the spread of foot and mouth disease. And we're obviously calling on maximum cooperation from the entire value chain, from farm level all the way through to consumer, to assist us in dealing with this particular matter, reporting unlawful behavior where it is observed, and also making sure there's strict adherence to the regulations. It's the only way we're going to get on top of foot and mouth disease in South Africa.
Just in terms of borders, because, I mean, one of the issues is that obviously these kettles move through, and you said at some point they'll have to move through Gauteng. How important is it to ensure that these borders are safe, and what is the impact between moving in provinces and the borders are not being adhered to?
Well, of course, it's not so much the borders, it's the protocols for the movement of animals. You shouldn't be moving animals that have not been verified as foot and mouth disease free. Animals should not be going to auction unless they have the right certificates from an ownership perspective to a health perspective. And animals should not be mixed with others on transport, for instance. They should not be mixed with others in feedlots until such time as their health status has been determined. You're never going to stop internally the movement of animals between provinces, because animals generally will come through Gauteng as the melting pot of the industry. But it's about determining at farm of origin, at auction of origin, and at feedlot of origin that all of the strict adherences is given to those protocols. And obviously we're using vaccination now, much like other countries like Brazil and Argentina did, to try and get it under control and back into those zones, obviously in KwaZulu-Natal and Limpopo where it is endemic, and then to open up the rest of the country in the compartmentalized way to international trade. It's obviously been very disruptive to the local beef industry, and consumers no doubt would have noticed the jump in price of beef products over the course of the last month. And obviously that comes down to supply and demand. So we currently have a dam wall that's been built because of the disease. Our job is to break the dam wall down in a safe way and to get the flow of product back into market so that we can deal with the supply and demand and bring those prices down again for consumers.
Right. Thank you very much, Minister, for speaking to us. Well, that's Minister of Agriculture. Just speaking about those details that are very important to the farmers, especially when it comes to the animals at this point. We know that some of the issues that have affected them is, of course, the movement of the animals, but also we know that it's because they have not been seen or understood in terms of their status. So these are the things that they need to clamp down on. The vaccination being very important because it will cut down on the outbreak. But of course, just looking at the future of how to ensure that they stop this outbreak from taking place in South Africa.